Hey, how's it going? I'm Josh from 91 Tech, and I've been using the iPhone X for about a week now, so we're gonna go right into this and talk about what it's like living with the iPhone X. It's been a lot of fun. $1,000 fun? That's debatable, but we'll get into that in a different video. Straight up, this iPhone is amazing. There's no doubt in my mind about that. I've never used anything that's felt so refined or so magical, but you know, you get what you pay for. So first we'll talk about some things I like, and then we'll mention a few things I don't like. Living with the iPhone X, it feels super fast. Gestures, downloading apps, loading web pages, everything is instantaneous as you would expect from a phone that was launched, just over 2 weeks ago now? The only experience I could really equate this to is my iPhone 5 on iOS 6. That thing is crazy fast on stock apps, and so is the iPhone X, except the 10 is also fast on everything else too, so it's pretty crazy. The screen is stunning. Easily my favorite part of the AMOLED panel is having truly black pixels. It looks so much better than my iPhone 6s ever did or ever could. I'm already to the point where I barely notice the notch. I know it's there, but it's not a big deal at all like some are trying to make it out to be. My only complaint is that not all apps are optimized for it yet, but that of course will change with time. Having this huge screen in such a small footprint is awesome. You know, this is about the size of my 6s, and yet the screen feels so much bigger. When I'm scrolling through, Instagram or Reddit or something to that extent, having that extra vertical space is really, really helpful. Video can be a little bit annoying sometimes because you have to deal with that notch on the side if you want it cropped. Otherwise you're gonna have it pretty zoomed out, but honestly I usually just have it cropped with the notch because I don't find it to be that intrusive. To each his own, but I don't mind that much. Wireless charging is awesome. I picked up this cheap pad for like 20 bucks and it works perfectly. If you're interested, I will link the Amazon page below. I'm not sponsored or anything, but I really like it and would personally recommend it. The battery so far has been great. I know it's apparently not as good as the 8 Plus, but in my experience, especially compared to my 6S, the performance is really good. I'm a pretty heavy user, and a full day of using it for quite a bit is fine. Honestly, I usually still have at least 20% left. The camera is amazing. I'm extremely impressed. I'm gonna go over this in a future video with my full review, so don't worry about that, but I will say it's great. Portrait mode is awesome, and I never had the 7 Plus. I never got to experience that telephoto lens, but I can tell you it is super convenient to have 2x zoom. My mom has an LG G5, which has that ultra wide lens that I think LG still does, and it's cool, but honestly it's nowhere even close to what I would consider the telephoto lens. Having a 2x zoom is just extremely handy. So let's talk about Face ID, because that's a big deal with this phone. I like it. I really do. It works, and it works well. Is it as convenient as Touch ID? Probably not. However, I usually never even think about it. It's fast. You need to typically be looking at it pretty directly, which isn't always great. When you look at it, it just works. You just turn on your phone, swipe up, you're in. You don't really have to think about it too much. Now, sometimes when I'm in bed, if my face is partially covered with a blanket or whatever, or if it's on my desk and I'm just looking at it from across it, it's often not going to work. But it's not a huge deal to just grab your phone or to reposition your face or whatever. It's just a tiny amount of time it takes to do that. I'm not that worried about it. What is also really nice is that it hides your notifications until you look at the phone. So props to Apple for that touch. I miss the headphone jack. I've been using the dongle Apple provides, but it's just not as convenient, and I still wish we had that classic jack. However, in the long run, I don't think this is going to bug me too badly, as I do have a pair of Bluetooth earbuds and I should be fine. And honestly, again, the dongle works. It does the job, and yeah, it's not like I have an extremely expensive pair of headphones that I want to use on my iPhone anyway. I have a nice pair of earbuds, but other than that, it's not really a big deal. I am worried about the durability of this iPhone, as it being all glass, it could crack with only a simple drop, which is why I've put it in a case to ensure that doesn't happen. Again, cases I use will be in the description down below, and I am not sponsored, but they work. I haven't dropped my phone yet, but if I do, hopefully it'll be protected. Now, actually, I do have a small problem with my model, to the point where I'm actually going to go to Apple and try to get it replaced, and that is that there's a little speck of dust under the camera lens. It's not enough to impede any photos, but if it was to get shaken around in the lens and was to move in front of the camera sensor, then that would be really bad. So I'm gonna go to Apple on Saturday, and my hope is that they'll just replace it right then and there. If they don't have any in stock, because iPhone 10s are so limited, then we'll see what happens. I don't want to return this phone. I want to keep it. The return policy for me isn't up. So if I absolutely have to return it, if they're not going to replace it for me, then I will do so. It's just really disappointing to see that there's such a manufacturing issue. It is definitely on the inside of the lens. Yeah, it's disappointing. It is really disappointing. So this isn't the one that I'm going to be keeping forever. Just thought I'd throw that in there. You're probably not going to have any issues with the iPhone 10 you get, but if you do get one, just make sure you check the camera lens, check for any green lines on the screen. There have been very few issues with them, but there still have been some. And emojis are fun. Not particularly useful, but they're fun. And I really hope that Apple, keeps updating these and doesn't treat them like a complete gimmick. Because they aren't, honestly. They're actually quite amusing to play around with and to show people and to send people. Do I use it a lot? No, but once in a while, it's a lot of fun to play around with. And so it's definitely something worth mentioning. So overall, my experience living with the iPhone 10 has been really good. I love this phone. I'm absolutely loving it. Was it worth $1,000? That's a different question for a different time. You get what you pay for. For sure. This is easily the best smartphone. Okay, best iPhone. You can debate on whether or not it's the best smartphone, but it's a complete package. It's just a really good phone. Apple really did a good job this year, and so props to them. Living with this iPhone 10 is amazing, and that's really all I have to say. Not a lot, but expect a full review coming pretty quick here. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you found this video interesting, please hit that like button, because that helps out a lot, and consider subscribing if you want to see more content just like this. Comment your thoughts down below on the iPhone 10. I'm curious to see what people think about it. Thanks again. I'm Joshua91Tech, and I will see you all next time.